Lines. APC to go ahead with its National Executive Committee meeting despite INEC's recognition of Mai Mala Buni. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency intercepts 3 million opioid capsules, 8,613 kilograms of cannabis in Lagos. Court remands BRT driver for 30 days over murder of Bamishe. And on the foreign scene, UN's World Food Programme says South Sudan to face its worst hunger crisis. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in full. The All Progressive Congress, APC, has dismissed a letter written to it by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the need to give the Commission a 21-day notice for its national convention slated for March 26th. Spokesman of the party's caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Ismaila Ahmed, stated this as the news conference on Friday in Abuja. He said the party had earlier intimated the Commission of its intent to conduct its national convention on February 26th, and that is what is required now is for a new date of March 26th is simply a notice of an adjustment and not a fresh 21-day notice. Earlier, INEC rejected a letter inviting it to an emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee of the ruling party, where Bello's chairmanship, among other things, is to be ratified. The Commission said the letter is not signed by Buni and the National Secretary, respectively, contrary to the provision of Article 1.1.3 of the Commission's Regulations and Guidelines for Political Party Operations 2018. People living with disabilities, extremely poor families and other vulnerable groups, as well as women and children, will soon have a cause to smile in Katsina State. This is if the state development plan is implemented to guide political actors to improve the quality of lives of the ordinary people of the state. Abdullahi Ahmadi completes the report.
The State Development Plan, which is a process that kick-started since 2020, is at its final stage of completion with the review and validation of the document this Thursday in Katsina. Similarly, the plan will, among other things, address the issue of exclusion in governance and other economic and social sectors to provide equal opportunities for people living with disabilities, remove the economic barriers existing between the rich and the poor, and address inequality. And the plan will definitely go a long way in ensuring sustainable development in the state. Particularly, it's trying to look at 4 critical areas of the state, which is looking at the governance structures, looking at human development, looking at environmental development, and of course, human capital development. I think I've mentioned that. So we hope at the end of the day, this plan will serve the people of Katsina. It will help the state to think around deep potentials that they have. Other issues the development plan intends to achieve is to reduce maternal mortality, effect of child killer diseases, mitigate climate change, water supply and other critical sectors of human endeavor. This plan is going to go deep to look at those people that are extremely poor and vulnerable, and particularly women and children. So the plan is designed in a way to look at whether the exclusion issues in the state, why do we have some of the poverty issues, why are women excluded in certain areas, even in governance. So it has a very deep understanding of different issues. The document is also expected to be a human rights-based risk-informed development plan consistent with the Economic Recovery Growth Vision 2030. According to some critical stakeholders, the plan will ensure coherent design of public policy and implementation for equitable socio-economic and sustainable development. Katsina State, which has a population of 10 million people in 2020, mostly in rural areas, are expected to be captured in all the economic plans and future budgets by activating health services, the economy, and social protection sectors.
Local governments in every sector have a vital role to play They are very strategic because virtually all the population of not only Katsina State but of Nigeria resides in one local government or the other, and so their position is very vital and very key. Looking at the content of the development plan, one will see that this is going to be a major overhaul of the socio-economic well-being of the people of Katsina State.
When fully implemented, the state development plan will also check the rural-urban drift and the issue bordering on almajiris as well as street begging, among others.
I wish to assure the teeming good people of Katsina State that this development plan is going to be of immense importance to them, because it is primarily designed to cater for the well-being of the less privileged and the vulnerable people of the society.
It could be recalled that Katsina State government, with the support of UNICEF, launched the process, inaugurated a steering committee and technical working group for the production of the state development plan document in December 2020. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have intercepted 3 million capsules of opioids at Jailit Bonded Container Terminal under Tinkan Seaport in Apapa area of Lagos. In a statement issued by Director, Media and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Babafemi, the seizure of 3 million capsules of tapentadol and carisoprodol weighing 1,500 kilograms on Monday, 7th March 2022, followed a similar operation in which anti-narcotic officers of the agency also intercepted 8,613 kilograms of loud cannabis smuggled in from Ghana through the waterways at the Eco Atlantic Beach in Victoria Island of Lagos State. According to Babafemi, the seized drugs at the bonded terminal were discovered during a joint examination of a 20-foot container with men of the Nigeria Customs Service. He added that though the consignment was said to have originated from the Ningbo province in China and falsely labeled as containing 271 packages of insulating fittings, faucet water closet and industrial office printing machine, investigations revealed that information on the bill of lading and shipping documents were fake. Some drivers and their assistants who were on ground to load the shipment into their vehicles were promptly arrested, while 2 trucks, a Sienna Space Bus, Peugeot Boxer bus and a Toyota Camry car were seized from them. And the Adamawa State House of Assembly is considering a piece of legislation that will subject all job seekers, applicants for political appointments, and students seeking admission into tertiary institutions of learning in the state to undergo a mandatory drug test. Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly at the opening of a public hearing on the draft legislation said the imperative of controlling the adverse effect of drugs and other illicit substance abuse on the society informed the consideration for a legislative backing to strengthen the fight against drug abuse. The report.
Gathered here at this committee room in the Adamawa State House of Assembly complex are persons and agents of the state in the front lines of the anti-drug campaign to consider a piece of legislation some of those present here say is the game changer in the anti-drug war. This draft bill for a law to provide for mandatory drug and other illicit substance testing for applicants for appointment, employment and admission into state public and educational institutions, and to provide for other matters incidental thereto at its formative stages will make it mandatory for drug tests to be conducted for all job seekers, applicants for political appointment, and students seeking admissions into any tertiary institutions of learning in Adamawa State.
The problem is not only limited to our schools. What is happening in our government institution is better imagined than real. Drugs and illicit substance abuse has become a fashion amongst public and civil servants. The bill is therefore a deliberate effort by the sponsor and the honorable members to curtail the trend by nipping the problem in bud through legislation. We acknowledge therefore the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency in fight against drugs abuse, but it's our conviction that the fight is for everybody. Hence, this bill. I therefore urge you to be frank, meticulous, and free in your submissions.
Drugs and some illicit drugs it's a problem to our own community, our society in general. So we believe maybe by enacting this law, we'll reduce some crime in our society. Robbing, kidnapping, roaming about, school dropout and all that, it will reduce to our own understanding. Because once you have this, we have this law, one, before you be employed, you must be tested. If you are sure you are a student, you are schooling, you'll be afraid to take drugs because you know once you finish this school, you need employment. If you want to be employed, if they tested you positive, maybe you cannot get it.
An abuse of drugs, I think, is the major problem in the whole world now, not even Nigeria or Adamawa, the whole world as a whole. And the control of drugs is paramount. It's very important because there is a saying that youth are the leaders tomorrow. But with this development of drug abuse, the chances of them to be leaders tomorrow is blinking.
Now to judicial matters, where Ayaba Chief Magistrates Court on Friday remanded a BRT driver, Andrew Nice, for 30 days over his alleged involvement in the death of his passenger, Oluwabamishi Ayangwoli. The court made the order following an application by the police. Police counsel Yetunde Cardoso, who filed the application based on a 4-count charge of alleged murder, sexual assault, misconduct, and interference with a corpse. Last Monday, Bamishi, 22, was found dead on Carter Bridge, Lagos Island, 9 days after being declared missing after she boarded the BRT bus.
March, like I said earlier, we got the message on Sunday. A family meeting was going on when we got the message, so we had to rush down to Ibutiri, like I said earlier, to do a confirmation. And on getting there, we were told that she was dropped by the bridge. We call it Ogogoro community. That was where she was dropped. According to what we had, we were told that she was dropped on the 26th, and the police found out around past 10 p.m. But the body was conveyed to the morgue on the 27th.
And Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has handed the staff of office to Oba Lekan Balogun as the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan. The governor handed the staff of office to the 42nd Olubadan on Friday during the monarch's coronation ceremony held in Ibadan, Oyo State. The Vice President, Yemi Oshibanjo, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, governors, traditional rulers, and diplomats graced the event. You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up after the break, bread and noodles may be out of reach. This and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Trust TV News Update. Now a look at our top stories. All Progressives Congress, APC, has dismissed a letter written to it by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the need to give the Commission a 21-day notice for its national convention slated for March 26th. And operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have intercepted 3 million capsules of opioids at Jalith Bonded Container Terminal under Tinkan Seaport in Apapa area of Lagos. And now moving on to other stories. The human eye is a delicate and special organ of the human body that requires proper care. To do this, you are advised to have regular screening to prevent avoidable blinding eye conditions. Now, as the world commemorates Glaucoma Week, State House Hospital ophthalmologists give back to the society by conducting free eye screening and creating awareness about glaucoma. Zainab Bala now reports.
Upon arrival at the hospital reception, you see a visual on the TV screen telling you what glaucoma is.
From your eye to your brain. Glaucoma typically happens when the fluid in your eye does not drain as it should.
The theme for World Glaucoma Week 2022 is "The world is bright, save your sight," echoing the need to raise awareness on why we need to care for the eyes to prevent vision impairment and irreversible blindness caused by glaucoma and other blinding eye conditions. This year, several ophthalmologists in hospitals within the capital city are conducting free eye screening. We visited the State House Hospital, where we saw a number of people take advantage of the gesture to have their eyes checked.
Glaucoma is a group of eye diseases that cause blindness, and the blindness is irreversible. Now, the cause of glaucoma, as it were, is largely unknown. However, there are risk factors, and one of them, a very crucial one, is raised intraocular pressures. That's the raised pressures inside the eye. But also there are people who don't have high pressures and they also are going blind from glaucoma. I want to say an important thing about glaucoma is that it occurs in both eyes and it progresses and causes irreversible blindness. If somebody is blind from glaucoma, there isn't anything you can do about it. Unlike some other eye diseases like cataract, in which the person is blind, but after surgery the person sees again. One of the things we notice about such patients are that they don't see colors very well. The colors appear faded. Things are blurred, faded colors. They don't see red as red. It's like faded red. So we are saying that we want to let people know, create awareness about glaucoma, that you don't need to find yourself in that stage. The world is bright. Save your sight. Go get your eyes screened for glaucoma. And if by chance you're screened and it's found that you have glaucoma, it's not the end of the world. Wherever, whatever stage the person is, the person can be managed and the rate of blindness can be reduced drastically. And so the message we are sending out about saving your sight because the world is bright is because we want to get people tested and detected early.
A lot of the patients here have been diagnosed with other eye conditions, but glaucoma cases are minimal. Like this man here, who is over 40 and cannot see the letters displayed on the screen from a distance. She, on the other hand, has no problems at all.
I am here because of a very good reason, actually. Well, the list I know about health, it doesn't just break down. It starts and starts and starts, and when we don't pay attention, it breaks down. So I'm here to just check to be sure that I'm fine. Prevention is better than care, you know. And two, if there is any underlying disease already, so I can just go and have it checked out and treated before it breaks down.
As a human being without eye, there is nothing you can do. Yes, eye is one of the important organs of human life. Yes.
I'm a chef, you know, always with a flame, so I need to check my eyes regularly so that I will be fit. And my eyesight is so important to me. The reason I take advantage of this free eye screening is that some hospital, you need to pay when you go there. It's not going to be free. So when we see any opportunity like this, we take the advantage so that we'll not be able to spend much.
Eye care providers have advised Nigerians to have regular eye checks to detect early eye conditions to prevent total blindness. Ophthalmologists here are excited to celebrate this week.
The world is bright. Save your sight.
Zainab Bala, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war in faraway Europe is taking its toll on non-combatants in Gombe State, northeast Nigeria, as people now pay more for bread and noodles common on family menus. Russia and Ukraine account for 25% of wheat production globally. Bakers say disruption in supply of wheat is responsible for the hike in prices. The report.
Bread is one of the most consumed food in Nigeria, and one of its ingredients is flour, which is being produced from wheat. Bakers said they are now battling hiking prices of flour, which is affecting their businesses. With the current crisis between Russia and Ukraine, analysts predicted more increase in prices of bread and noodles. Bread bakers are likely to pay more for raw materials.
And the price of flour has increased, let's say at least with 2 to 5% as we used to buy it before. And the price of sugar also increased with 2 to 3% as the price we used to buy the sugar before. And also the rest of the commodity, they have changed their prices, but yet now we did not change our price for that we used to sell our bread.
Tea and bread vendors, popularly known as Meshayi, are now paying more for bread and noodles. Some of them said a bread costing 300 naira before now sells 400 naira. We used to buy a sachet of noodles at 100 naira and sell 120, but now we buy it at 120 and sell 170 naira. They normally supply bread costing 200 naira, and now they supply those costing 150 and that of 300 naira. The difference in price has affected our business. We aren't making profit like before. A consumer also shared his experience. Bread is expensive, and it is not from the vendors. It is the hike in price of flour. A bread that cost 100 naira before is now 200, and that of 200 is now 350 naira. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, Russia and Ukraine account for 23% of the global wheat market, worth 206.9 million metric tons in 2021.
And when the price of flour in market change, we must increase our prices of bread, due to the fact that when we buy flour, now we are using Mama Gold in our production. Before we are buying Mama Gold as 21,000, and now we are buying Mama Gold as 22,500 naira. But when the crisis continue, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, but Mama Gold flour will reach at least not less than 23,000, and all the rest of the flour like IRS, we used to buy IRS at the rate of 20,000, 19,500 naira, 20,000, but now we used to buy IRS at the rate of 21,500 naira.
Prices of noodles, spaghetti and bread are expected to record increase as the war between Ukraine and Russia continues. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And ahead of Ramadan, Fast Committee of 1004 Mosque in Victoria Island, Lagos is inaugurated, while the Chief Imam of the mosque, Sheikh Ibrahim Suleiman, has been reinstated. One of the elders of the mosque, Suleiman Salahuddin, said the inauguration of the committee and the reinstallation of the Chief Imam have become necessary at the moment. Abbas Ibrahim now reports.
Ustaz Suleiman Salahuddin, one of the elders of the mosque, who inaugurated the members of the new committee, described the inauguration as a historical one.
This is an historical event in the history of this mosque. I have been part and parcel of this mosque for roughly 40 years. I've been here in the mosque. This is the first time I can confirm that to you, that we are having well-organized, institutionalizing the committee of the mosque, which I think is in line with the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is why you see the hierarchy of authorities from that of the chairman, secretary, up to the lowest level of the youth. We have incorporated them into this so that the youth can perform and assist the elderly people in administration of the mosque.
He said the inauguration comes at the right time as the month of Ramadan is approaching.
You know, in Ramadan there are a lot of activities, iftar, tarawih and so on, and toward the tail end of Ramadan we have itikaf, where we come and stay in the mosque for the last 10 days, you know, full of ibadah, supplicating to Allah, meditating, reciting Quran, embark on the voluntary services to Allah to earn more barakah from Allah. That is why the inauguration of this member of the committee becomes necessary, most especially at this moment, so that they can put in place all the necessary materials and things that will make the itikaf and other activities during Ramadan easier, comfortable for the people.
Alhaji Lukman Abubakar, the chairman of the committee, said the way forward is for all stakeholders to come together for the development of the mosque.
No, the way forward, like we said now, is for all of us to come. Since we are doing this fi sabilillah, is because we are doing because of Allah. So all of us, all the other, in fact, including all members, should come in so that, you know, like we said, we couldn't give the financial position because some of the records are still with the old secretary, you know, so he has to release the records and so on so that we can go forward.
The Chief Imam 1004, Sheikh Ibrahim Suleiman, gives thanks to Allah and also stressed the need of regarding mosques as an institution.
We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We resolve the crisis since we are in peace. But we only have annual general meeting to just put a foundation from today so that a mosque will be open for meeting with the congregation. Imam, the committee, the chairman, the secretary will have interaction with the congregation so they can share ideas within that community and then make progress in terms of development, achievement and this thing. And what we are lacking in our mosques in generally is we always narrow the mosque for only salat. So in this regard, Imam has nothing to do but only salat. House of Allah has to be an institution organized by itself where Muslims can fall back to, where they can arrange themselves, they can grow, they can share ideas. Even that's how it is during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If Prophet is taking decision, he's taking in the mosque.
Now look at the foreign scene, where UN's World Food Programme, WFP, warned Friday that more than 70% of South Sudan's population will face extreme hunger this year as conflict and climate-related disasters deepen food scarcity. The WFP, in a statement, said while global attention remains fixated on Ukraine, a hidden hunger emergency is engulfing South Sudan, with about 8.3 million people in South Sudan, including refugees, facing extreme hunger in the coming months. And that concludes Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.